Hey guys, Redbeard the Medic here. Let's talk about diabetic ketoacidosis. Think DKA is all about high blood sugar? Think again. Let me show you. Imagine that glucose knocks at the door to the cell. Nobody answers and the door's locked. He tries the knob, but he can't get in because he doesn't have a key. The key in this case is insulin, which is normally secreted by the pancreas. Why doesn't this poor glucose molecule have insulin? Well, the pancreas, he's burned out, checked out, on vacation, not producing insulin. More glucose arrives, attempting to also get into the cell. But they don't have insulin either. And because they don't have insulin, they're left outside with the other glucose molecules. So glucose builds up in the bloodstream, while inside the cell, there's no glucose for energy production. Think back to A&P. In A&P, we learned that glucose combined with other food proteins is what the body converts to energy. So now the body starts freaking out. It doesn't have any glucose inside the cell to make energy. So if we go inside the cell, what we will find is that anaerobic metabolism is kicked in, and this poor fatty acid is trying its hardest to produce energy. Which sounds great in theory, doesn't it? However, as you can see, the fat doesn't produce nearly the amount of energy that glucose does. The byproduct of this process are ketones, which are acidic. Acids, in the right amounts of the blood, are good for the body. However, as these build up, along with the glucose, it throws the body into a metabolic panic, if you will. As the pH of the blood drops and becomes more acidotic, the body recognizes this and then tries to compensate. The respiratory system tries to compensate by producing Kussmaul respirations, a tachypnic respiratory pattern that's deep and almost sounds like a hissing sound, like your patient is trying to train for a marathon. The kidney then attempts to flush the acids out of the body, which is where we see polyuria come in. The polyuria then leads to volume depletion, which then leads to acute kidney injury. Another symptom you'll see in patients with DKA is altered mental status. As you can see, this guy's having a really hard time focusing. There's a fog over him, a brain fog. He doesn't know who he is, where he is, or what he's doing. DKA is a life-threatening emergency, and so you can see why it's important to understand it and to be able to recognize it in the field. Without treatment, these patients will die. In the pre-hospital environment, aggressive fluid resuscitation is what we're going to focus on to replace the losses of electrolytes and intra and extravascular volume. However, these patients also will receive insulin and electrolytes in the hospital. Hopefully, this helps you understand DKA just a little bit better.